Hello, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me once again. I should say, even though you've probably noticed, if I'm going to do this and if I'm going to do it regularly and consistently, I'm going to have to do it imperfectly, which means I've got wet hair today because I had to get out of the shower, had to get the kids sorted, and this was the window of opportunity that I had to do this. So you're not going to find kind of perfection and glossy and a whole team or anything like that for now. It's just me and you and us having a chat. If you're enjoying this series, please do subscribe and share and follow along. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I hope you are too. A few things to talk about today. Over the weekend, I had a window of opportunity to get through one of the enormous stack of magazines that I have sitting by my bed. And yeah, my mum kindly passes them on, but I just don't have time to read them sometimes, or the time doesn't prevent itself, or I don't make the time. But I saw a window of opportunity and I grabbed it the other day. And I don't know if you know this from following me on social media. I've talked about it quite a bit over the years. My family and I are obsessed with looking out for yellow cars and yellow doors. Luna, who is my nearly 4-year-old, started it when she was about 18 months old. Yellow has always been her favourite colour. She had a yellow tutu on her first birthday. She always used to just gravitate towards the colour and yeah, really loves it. So if there's anything where there's a yellow option, she will go for it. Anyway, we begun this looking for yellow cars, looking for yellow doors, just as a sort of casual game. And when we begun with this game, we didn't really see that many. And also in my head, I had a bit of a limiting belief around it, thinking, how many yellow cars are there really? Because as I'm looking out onto my road, I can see grey, I can see white, I can see black, that blue one at the end, but that's kind of it. And the funny thing was, as soon as we started looking for yellow cars, yellow doors, the more we saw. And I know there's an amazing quote, something like, what you focus on expands. I think it was Tony Robbins that said it. And it's so true. So the more that we look for them, the more that we are aware of them, the more that we see. And it's become our kind of lucky charm, our good luck thing. And I often find it, especially because I do a lot of my running on the street, up and down lots of different roads, the amount of times when I will suddenly be feeling completely out of breath and doubting whether I can do it, I will see a little yellow car round the corner and it will always make me smile. It will always give me that little boost of like, no, go on, you've got luck on your side, keep moving, there's a yellow car, lovely, lovely. Anyway, to go back to the magazine thing, the other day, I was flicking through this magazine and I cut out a few recipes and things like that I'm going to make. And in the home section, it was Red Magazine, there was a picture of a yellow door. And so what I decided to do was just cut it out. And I love cutting things out anyway. I used to do it loads as a kid, and I've been doing my vision board in that way this year. I actually cut out all the pieces and put it in a book, and that visual has really been helping me because I can take it wherever I go. I'm writing in that notebook a lot, and it's felt really good. Anyway, I cut out this yellow door, and I just thought, well, what am I going to do with it? And I remembered I've got this really good washi tape, which is yellow and white striped. I thought, I'm going to stick it on our front door. Sorry, there's a motorbike doing something out there. I thought, right, I'm going to stick this yellow door on the inside of our front door. And the reason that I did that was firstly because I just thought it would entertain the kids, and we don't have a yellow front door, and I just thought, okay, let's do that. But there was something really powerful, and here is the exercise that you can try here. By having that yellow door, before we've even left the house, and we've all seen one, it anchors something in, which is, I've already got one in the bag. it's a confidence thing. It's a sense of abundance. It's a sense that all of these things are everywhere. And it's a technique that you can use in so many different areas of your life. So, for example, if you're looking to attract more clients, look at a way that you can collate all your other client success stories in one place. And maybe you have a folder on your computer or in your email, and you can go and hang out there for a little bit going, oh yeah, I did that work for them. Oh, they got that result. Oh, they were really pleased with that thing that I did. And what happens is, instead of feeling I'm starting from scratch, I'm literally starting from zero, I don't know what to do, am I even going to find a yellow door or a yellow car? And I feel that sometimes many of us, and I do this as well, I can go into that default position of feeling like I'm starting again. But the truth is, we're rarely beginning from zero. We're rarely starting from the very bottom. And so that trick with the yellow door, and every time I've watched the children walk past it again and again and kind of observe myself doing it as well, it brings a little cheeky smile to my face, like, oh, already seen a yellow door, I haven't even left the house yet. And it's a really great one, especially if you're looking to bring something to life. Maybe you feel that you want to build a relationship with something, you want to grow something, you want to elevate something, you want to change it. Visuals are so good for locking it in and grounding it in. And sometimes it can just play with even if I haven't seen a yellow door or a yellow car all day long, I might have that thing of going, yeah, but I know there's one on my front door, so there must be more out there. There must be. And quite often, the next thing that happens is one comes around the corner. That's it on the yellow door. There's a whole Instagram post, and you can see the picture if you go over to my Instagram at Nikki Raby. The second thing I want to talk about, let me check my list for today. Okay, I want to talk about something that I've been doing differently in my business over the last, I would say, 3 or 4 months. So one of the goals that I had this year was to grow my newsletter list. And this is something that I underestimated the power of, let's just say. Because for many years, social media was fantastic for my business. I would put a post up and then I would get client inquiries. I would make sales. I was always in conversation. People were liking and posting and commenting on everything. And then post-pandemic, there seemed to be a bit more of a drop-off. I'm not taking it personally, no. But I think it's the same for everybody. I think there is that thing that we all got a bit screened out. We didn't want to look at anything else. We actually wanted to be in the world, having real life conversations and not just be on social media the whole day. And I've had a newsletter list for 10 years now. And I've been really consistent with it. I've grown it. But I was also thinking, what is as the great Oprah Winfrey says, what is my intention behind that newsletter list? And for me, it was about building a regular relationship with my readers in the way that my readers would feel supported very regularly and very consistently with loads and loads of free tools. And they could stop there and have the free tools and go about doing what they're doing. And there are some people on my newsletter that I've never met personally, I've never had a conversation with, we've never worked together personally. But I know that some of those people have recommended me to other people, or sometimes they'll just send me a message saying, I really enjoy your free content. Thank you. I'm not in the market for a coach. I don't really want a coach. I do something completely different, but there's something about your content that I really enjoy. Brilliant. Equally, there are some people who have worked with me and worked with me for a long time, a short time. That's why I have longer and shorter options. There have been people who have worked with me for a couple of years, gone and had a break, come back, done something else, and it's felt really great. I ultimately know the power of numbers. So if you have a pool of more people to sell to, when you put something out there, you're more likely to sell more things if you have a bigger pool of people. It's just maths. I mean, ideally, they would all be your kind of ideal clients, but, that's a process that you go through. And one of the things that, again, is the flip side of my growth and the changes that I've been making in my business and how I've done this for 10 years is I always look at the flip side. So on the one hand, I look at how am I going to grow? If the goal is to grow, how am I going to grow that newsletter list? How am I going to grow it with integrity, with connection, with creativity, with joy? I think that's the thing. I don't want to build things in my business that I'm like, oh gosh, I got to do that thing. Not at all. But on the flip side, I'm always asking myself, how am I going to practically do that? How am I mentally going to meet that expectation? How am I going to financially meet that expectation? So I'm always looking at the how alongside that. And one of the things that for me is always a consideration is I always want to have enough energy for all the things that I want to do and all the roles that I play on a day-to-day basis. And that's not just for my clients, that's for my children, for my partner, for myself, for my family, for my friends, for being nice to the person in the supermarket, for having the energy and going and thanking the yoga teacher for such a really brilliant class that day. I want to have that elevation across all areas of my life. And so one of the questions that I always come up with is, how am I going to do this in a way that it supports me now and creates a ripple effect? And so what I've been experimenting with, and it's worked, I'm pleased to say, and again, these are my own measures of success. You might be like, it's not really worked that well, Nikki. Or, oh, wow, it depends where you're coming from. But for me, I, over the years, had signed up for a lot of freebies. So those things like how to make 10K in 10 days, or how to 10x your Instagram following, etc. And what I found over the years is that very few of those webinars, and this is just me personally talking, some people may disagree, some people may have found their own version of this. Many of those webinars that were promising free value were, I would say, a quarter, the first quarter of them saying who they are and giving like 2 tips. The other 3 quarters was sell, sell, sell. Can you do this? Oh, somebody's buying. Here's the bonus. Get in quick. Somebody's on the line. And it became a transactional thing. For me, I know that I don't shop that way. Very rarely have I bought something on a webinar where I've seen that time ticking down and that urgency and that scarcity factor rather. I don't purchase like that. The people that I have worked with over the years that I have paid money to, whether that's coaches or strategists or digital people or photographers or videographers or whatever it might be, I've needed to make that decision in my own time. And so what I did with my freebies house, which you can go and check out, by the way, it's nikkiravey.com/freebies house. I thought, how can I build this free part of my business, of my platform, in a sustainable, great, impactful way? And so I came up with the topics that I know that I can help people with. So let's see if I can remember them. There's the money room, the speaking room, the goal setting room, the energy and motivation room, the future self room, and the digital room. Have I said the digital room? You can check them out anyway. And the reason that I did this is because when I have a goal, I want to go all in on it. and I will often read around it, learn about it. So say my goal was money, like, okay, I really need to look at the structure of my business. I really need to think about how I'm going to make this business of life and blend it all together. How am I actually going to do this? So when I do that, I seek out not a webinar of like a fast track thing, because as interesting as somebody's story is, I am looking for information first. And so that is why I created a room where people could go and immerse themselves in a topic. So I knew by the time they said, maybe after they'd watched 3 or 4 videos, they were thinking, I really want to go deeper. I'm ready to get some more support now. I really like her vibe. I feel like that person could help me. So they were in that position where their solution, their results was right there. It was crystal clear. They knew what they wanted. So I wouldn't have to then spend all day cold calling people, trying to get them to work with me, because they already, and I think this was the thing, like I want people to get to a point where they can make decisions from a really great place, knowing what they need, knowing what they want. Also, when I've got that flexibility of a room, I can open up a place where people can come and hang out and experience and stop and come back and do an exercise and not feel that pressure to say yes or to go further along in the game before they're ready. And I've also noticed, I've also noticed for many people, when we're asking for help, there's usually a sensitivity that goes alongside that help. So when people say, I really need some help to make money because I don't have very much money coming in, there's a vulnerability there to that, especially if they're an adult, over the age of 18. Sometimes there's that, oh gosh, I've got to have all of this together. Likewise, if somebody knows they're really great at their job and yet standing up and presenting and communicating to a room full of people feels like something that should be just easy to do, they know that maybe they have some struggles in that area. And so asking for help, asking for support can be a bit uneasy sometimes. So my whole feeling is to welcome people into my room, into my freebies house, where they can explore, where they can do their own work. Also, one other final thing, I had so much of this content already. Now, some of it is brand new, but I just thought, how about I create a room and then those who want to go into that topic can come on into that room, rather than scrolling on Instagram, getting halfway through a video, somebody's parent is phoning, or their pal, or the builder, or whoever it might be, and then suddenly you lose that place on the video. So hopefully that has given you a bit of inside knowledge in terms of freebies today. You can go and check out that freebies house. It's available for you, and you can choose as many or as few rooms as you want, and really get tucked into some self-development ideas. Really think about some answers that you would like to find, and ask yourself some big questions. And you can do it in an environment where you're not in a big conference center feeling like you have to high five the stranger next to you. You can do it at your own pace. You can ask yourself those big questions, but also feel fully supported. Also then, if you like my style, you can then go on and work together personally. So I hope that makes sense. Have I got everything today? Oh, one final thing I just wanted to say is there is no such thing as a perfect time. And I've been reflecting on my own purchasing recently, and some of the things, or some of the projects that I've taken on, or the commitments that I've made to myself, or the courses that I've signed up for, or the coaches, it doesn't make sense to be doing that. So for example, this 10-week acting course that I'm doing right now, I'm doing week 3 tonight, And more so, every week, Matt and I sit down like, what is on this week? There's something after school pretty much every day. Can you help with this? Can you do this thing? My daughter starts school in September. We've got open days and all sorts of things. And so throwing in a 10-week, 3-hour per week acting course with all the prep and work in between does not make sense on paper. But when I connect with what the bigger goal is from September, as in I want to do more acting, and I'm having lots of meetings with agents at the moment, that means that I needed to do the course now. And actually, now I've got going with it, it's totally the perfect time because I'm enjoying it so much. I was drawn to it. I'm all in. It's really enjoyable. So when you say to yourself, sometimes it's not the perfect time, really ask some delving questions and find out what is going on under the surface of that. And is it a case of it's not the perfect time, or is it bringing some stuff up where you think, actually, I feel a bit vulnerable here, or I feel a bit in fear, and so I'm just going to say it's not the right time, and then I can just park it for now. But again, connect with where you want to be in 90 days. Connect with where you want to be in 6 months' time, a year's time, and then make decisions from that point of view. Because there's no such thing as a perfect time. So much of society tells us that January the 1st is the most perfect time. But I'm here to tell you, for the most part, it's not the perfect time on January the 1st. It's cold, it's dark, we're maybe hungover, we're full of cheese, we just want to sleep, we've got family, everybody's sitting on our sofa. Sometimes that is the least perfect time. So if you're finding yourself in a point of hesitation, waiting the whole time, ask yourself why. Are you doing that simply to protect yourself? Or is there a valid reason? Sometimes there's an absolutely valid reason, and it would be absolutely daft to do something of this nature at this time. And that's fine. Sometimes it's like, I don't know why I'm thinking about doing that right now. We need to get this sorted. I want to get that in line, and then I will do that thing. So it's almost like if you were going to go, if say I'd signed up for this course and it's like, well, actually I'm away for the first 4 weeks. Not the perfect time. I'm not going to get the value. I'm going to miss the first 4 weeks of it. If you've been thinking about getting an accountability coach, somebody to work with, somebody to support you every step of the way, come over to my Work With Me page and let's have a chat. I always begin our coaching relationships with a conversation. I want to know from you what you want, where you're going, what your version of success is, how I can help, how I can support you, where your gaps are, all of the questions. So if that's of interest, do come on over, book a declare and share session with me, which is basically where you tell me all of the things, and then we can create a plan going forward. I hope that's been useful for you today. Do check out the links down below, and I'll see you tomorrow.